no, there's some other widows there. Maybe we need to get together and share our stories. And so that idea just kept bubbling and just bubbling and bubbling. And I went and talked to Karen Goodman, the pastor of the senior adults, and she said, I think that's doable. Let's check and see if we can get a room at TriPoint.
Yeah.
So there, I said, I want it to be a chat group, but I don't want it to just be plain old chat. And so I started thinking and asked Karen to think and come up with an acronym, and nothing really fit until one morning I woke up and it was in my head. It just like God just gave it to me.
Yeah.
Creating hope amid tears.
Chat.
Creating
hope amidst tears. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just wow.
Yeah.
And we started middle of October. We meet weekly here at TriPoint, and to just have that presence surround you like, hey, I'm not the only person that has happened to.
Yeah.
And what a gift that has been to me.
Well, welcome back, friends, to Tacos Al Pastor, where we come for the tacos and stay for the conversation. This is episode 3 of this spring season in 2025, where our church, Trinity Baptist Church, is going through a visioning process or implementing our vision, and Bless 210 is the tip of the spear this spring, where we're challenging everyone in the congregation to bless someone living in the 210, in our area code, where you live, where you work, where you play. And on the podcast, we're telling stories about those in our church or in our community that are following the Spirit in their lives, and stories of how they're seeking to bless others through their life. And so my guest today is my good friend, Anita Foster. Anita, thank you for joining us today.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, and so we have tacos from the Fajita Place today, up on McCullough Avenue near North Star Mall. We have carne guisada with some rice and chicharrón con huevo, which is going to be a new one for me on flour.
Interesting.
So I'm going to take a bite and ask you to talk.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about you and Trinity Baptist Church. How long you've been here, and you and your family. Tell us a little bit about that.
I will. I am pleased to be able to share. I am a mother of 2. I'm a grandmother of 2. I'm a sister. I'm an aunt. I'm a cousin. And I'm a lifelong learner. I am part of this faith family. I'm a member of God's family overall, and a local member of Trinity Baptist Church. Dick and I joined here back in the mid-'70s looking for a church for our kids where they would feel included with the youth group and they had things for them to do. We felt like that if we found a place where they were comfortable, we would fit.
And y'all had just moved into town? Or
no,
y'all
we
been here
had,
some?
I joke and say we had been here since 1970.
Okay.
And then Dick's job took him to Houston. And I call that a missionary journey because I fought hard and I did not like moving. I like to settle in and get my little nest.
The foreign environs of Houston.
Yes.
But back home then to San Antonio.
But after 5 years in Houston, we came back and we went to the church where we had been before, where we had been as young marrieds, where we had our kids before we moved away. And it didn't fit anymore. We learned a lot of things in Houston. And the small world, I love these small world stories. Dr. Creech was one of the pastors at our church in Houston.
And at UBC in Houston.
Yeah, that was our church there. He came right as we were moving back to San Antonio.
Wow.
But I had notes, and I showed him one time. I had notes in my Bible, Dr. Creech, certain time.
Oh, that's fascinating.
So that helps me remember. I don't, sometimes I don't get the dates. I can do the stories and what's happened. But we moved back, and we went back to that church, and we didn't fit any longer. There was really, we can fit different places, but don't mess with my kids. And if I felt like they were uncomfortable, so that's what we came right at the time that it was the last Coast Camp. I
Okay,
went with
yeah.
Dinah as a chaperone. We had not even joined the church
Wow,
yet. They
yeah.
needed chaperones. They
Yeah.
must have needed them really badly.
They always need chaperones badly, yeah, for youth camp. Yeah.
And so enjoyed that. And then we just progressively became more and more involved.
Yeah.
And we visited lots of adult Sunday school classes.
Yeah.
And we wanted a couples class that was on a discussion format.
Yeah.
At that particular time, the couples classes were really large.
Yeah.
And they were more of a lecture format.
Yeah.
I felt like personally I got enough lecture when I went to worship service, and we wanted
some dialogue,
discussion,
yeah, back and forth,
And so we started a small Sunday school
Yeah.
class at that time, and Dick and some of the other people took turns teaching. There were probably only 10 couples.
And is that class?
No,
different one.
No,
Okay,
that
yeah.
class was
Yeah.
one of those large,
larger already. Yeah.
lecture
Yeah.
type classes. And so we had that small class for quite a while, and then through some of the ups and downs,
Yeah.
the class that we were in merged in with that class and another
Okay.
class. And
Yeah.
so we are currently members. And,
Yeah.
and I'm still saying we.
Yeah.
It'll be we for a long time
course,
because
yeah.
right here, and I feel his hand on my shoulder
That's right.
when I'm
we
here.
covers a lot of ground, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Well,
And our kids.
Yeah, and that's right. So, and that's why part of why we're here is to discuss some of what's going on in your life and how you've been following the Spirit in your life this past year, which comes on the heels of a really difficult season. And I don't ask that lightly, but for the context of the discussion today, would you tell us some about losing Dick last year and your marriage with him?
Last year, we celebrated our 56th anniversary in June, and we had decided to go to Norway and do a cruise because it's somewhere. I am much more adventuresome than Dick was. He'll go along, and then after the trip's over, it'll be his idea.
Yeah.
And he'll tell everybody that, oh, it was wonderful. And so Dick had been diagnosed with idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, which is a lung disease. He was diagnosed several years ago.
Yeah.
I really have to confess I didn't realize it was progressed as far as it was when we went. And that trip was a hard flight.
Yeah.
We had some rest time in Tromsø. I've got stories of the church that we went to on Sunday there. And we got on the cruise, and he was just having so much trouble with his oxygen saturation that they recommended they had a fancy name for it. Anyhow, we got off the ship.
Yeah.
And we spent 2 weeks in ICU in the hospital there. And I realized he was not going to be able to fly home commercially. So I started the process to medevac him home. And we got him back to San Antonio.
From Norway, which is
From
no
Norway.
simple process, is it?
No, it was
Yeah.
like 2 plane changes, 2 ambulances, a fixed wing. It was, but excellent care. We had a physician and a PA and a tech on the plane with us.
Yeah.
All the way back. And the kids, Dinah and Rex, met us at the hospital, and he lived 5 days after we got him back. I never in my imagination dreamed that that was going to be happening that way. I knew it was a terminal illness, but I had it back in the back of my brain somewhere.
Yeah.
So after that happened, we had we had so much support, so much prayer support, so many contacts that people were there for us. I don't think that I would have come through that without that. And so several weeks after Dick died, I was sitting in Sunday school class, which that was one of the hardest things I ever did, was go back to church by myself.
So
knowing
many
he wasn't
widows,
gonna-
widowers share that same thing of you've been there with your partner. Church is both your comfort and healing, but it's so painful to come back to that same pew, those same folks. And
Right. It's one of those kind of bittersweet. It
Yeah.
feels good to be around those people that you love and the people that love you, but yet it's the stark realization you are you. You're not
Feel
a
that
we
absence.
anymore.
Yeah. Mm.
But I was sitting in our Sunday school class, looked around, and I thought, oh, you know what? I'm the widow now that the church is going to be taken care of. I'm not going to be able to be the one taking care of people. And I thought, no, there's some other widows there. Maybe we need to get together and share our stories. And so that idea just kept bubbling and just bubbling and bubbling. And I went and talked to Karen Goodman, the pastor, the senior adult, and she said, I think that's doable. Let's check and see if we can get a room at TriPoint.
Yeah.
So there, I said, I want it to be a chat group, but I don't want it to just be plain old chat. And so I started thinking and asked Karen to think and come up with an acronym, and nothing really fit until one morning I woke up and it was in my head. It just like God just gave it to me.
Yeah.
Creating hope amid tears.
Chat. Creating hope amidst tears. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just wow.
Yeah.
And we started middle of October. We meet weekly here at TriPoint. And we just chat. Usually the way we open when everybody's gathering is, well, how did your week go? What happened? And we will talk about anything from, I was on the phone for 3 hours with Social Security, and they disconnected me twice, and I had to call back, and then to just have that presence surround you, like, hey, I'm not the only person that has happened to.
Yeah.
And what a gift that has been to me.
So you had the idea, so then you started kind of visiting with some other widows, more recent and more long-term in the church, and there was energy for it, wasn't there? I mean, there was some yearning for that gathering.
There really was. One of the ladies in our group said, this came at such a perfect time. I would not have been ready for it, 3 weeks ago, but she has been one of the faithful ones coming, and it has been just such a delight to me to see her laugh.
Yeah. Oh,
and
man.
we laugh, and we, find humor in things that you need to laugh.
Yeah.
Laugh helps you heal.
Yeah.
Another lady who I'd talked to.
Grief and laughter go together
do
quite
they
well.
Really?
I think, we need to feel the freedom for it in grief. Often I think in grief, you're supposed to feel sad, but particularly if your life was filled of love and laughter, and that's good to share, and is a good way to remember. Yeah.
And we even tell funny stories. Now I remember when Dick did such and such, and they're just going like, "Oh yeah, I remember that too." Gosh, he was a kook sometimes. One of the other ladies, when I called her about the group, and that's how we kind of put it together. I asked Karen if she knew of people, and I knew of some, and so we just started with a small core, and we're open to more people coming in, but we didn't put it out for publication until I wanted to see how it worked first. I didn't want to just fall flat on my face with something new that I thought would work. One of the other ladies said, I don't know. I don't like to talk in front of groups, and I don't like to be called on. And I just said, well, why don't you just come and sit in? She came, and she has not missed a session.
Yeah.
She asked one of the first questions that really got us talking, like, are you ladies going to stay in your homes? Mm-hmm. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Wow, that opened up.
Yeah.
And she has not missed.
That's amazing. And I hadn't even thought of that. I mean, I was thinking more of the emotional, spiritual support, which obviously it provides. But then there's just dealing with Social Security and dealing with insurance policies and all of the bank account. I mean, there's so much work that comes, which is a sad reality of grief is already hard enough, but to be able to have guides to navigate the logistical things, the home things, the kids, the family, the emotional, the spiritual, what a gift.
Oh, it's been basically nuts and bolts
Yeah.
type of thing. I told him right up, I'm not a counselor,
Yeah.
but I can talk, and I do care about people.
And you can listen. You're also a good listener, Anita. And
Thank
that's a big
you.
part of it, I think, as well, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, and that's just what it's evolved to, with just suggestions from each other. Well, I found so and so that worked for me. You might try this, or have you thought about that? All
Yeah.
of those things coming together from somebody who's right there
Yeah.
in the midst of it.
Well, the whole Bless 210 emphasis of beginning in prayer, listening to people, eating with people, or getting around a table with people, serving people, sharing your story with people. You launched this before we were even thinking about Bless 210. And Anita's also on our vision leadership team, so you were privy to some of those conversations earlier on. But you have done that. Y'all's group has blessed one another in this way, and it's such a great example of no matter who you are, no matter what you're going through, no matter what stage in life, Christ can use you. The Spirit can use you to bless someone, and the ways we bless people will be as diverse as we are, age, stage of life, everything. What an incredible encouragement to us. But, yeah.
God gave me a preview of Bless 210.
Yeah.
So I got the preview. I got
Yeah.
the front runner
Yeah.
of that, and it has really. I think it gives us a sense of where we're going with that Bless 210 because of the success. And that's not something that I did. That's because God blessed chat.
Well, I think it shows the Spirit was already moving and is continuing to move through chat, through any number of ways, and we want to lift up these stories. And it's also what you're sharing and what you're going through and been through is such a deep part of the gospel that the places of our pain that we would never want to go through or want anybody else to go through, with Christ's help, can also be the places where we offer comfort in ministry because other people are going to go through that pain. And that's such a testament to your faith and to Dick and to your marriage and love, to be able to take something that is unthinkable that this time last year you wouldn't have thought was on the horizon and continue to move forward in faith it's encouraging to me and hopeful, and I think deeply of the gospel. I can't help but think it would also please Dick tremendously and give great joy.
I hope it would. Both of my children are pleased. Mom, tell me about that group that you were talking about, and so it's very encouraging to hear from them. And also, my sister has been very supportive because she lost her husband 4 years ago.
Okay, yeah.
So she has had ideas. She's got a group that meets.
Yeah.
And, as I said, mine was not ever set up to be a counseling group. There's plenty of those groups around. This is more of a support group.
Yeah.
And it's just, we talk. We really don't have a format, which I'm finding out it matches me a lot better than I ever realized. I am random. I didn't ever think of myself as being random, but
well, I
this
think
does it.
when we talk about spiritual formation and growth, we talk about 3 legs of the stool. You need knowledge and teaching, you need some prayer and formation, and then you need fellowship and conversation. And most of us I think all of us need all of those things. And it's good to have some counseling for grief, but it's also good to have fellow grievers around to say, what's your burden this week? What's hard this week? What's good? Just to visit with people that love you, and it's safe to ask those questions. What are y'all thinking about your homes? Are you going to stay? Are you going to move? And to have people that understand, I think, again, deeply of the gospel there, and what a gift that is. As you think about, what you're learning through this and have experienced, and as we're talking with others, considering how they may follow the Spirit in their own life, in their own way, Any encouragement on for others on blessing others in their life, following the Spirit in their life?
Just be sensitive. Don't discount yourself. It's easy for us to put up roadblocks and say, I've never done that before. I don't think that I can do that. But sometimes if you just take a small step and you see a need, and people will come along. It's kind of like if you build it, they will come.
No, yeah.
And that's what I've found, that there might be people that would come and help you. If you think of something where there's a need, that they might not just reach out on their own.
Yeah.
But that I just say, be sensitive, because those feelings, those ideas in your head, God works that way.
Yeah.
I've never heard an audible voice, but I felt the presence and I felt the direction.
Yeah.
And it comes.
Well, thank you for your willingness to share your story. I know it's not incredibly easy. Thank you for the way you've served this church and the way you're serving the kingdom of God. You're encouraging to me. You're a blessing to me and to many. And thank you. Thank you for today.
I am so happy to do it. It just gives me joy. I woke up this morning so excited.
I love it. Friends, thank you for joining today on Tacos Al Pastor. I pray that you are seeking the Spirit's leading for your life. How is God leading you to bless your neighbors, your workplace, people going through something? How is God leading you to bless the world through His kingdom? Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Share as you're able. If you want to share this story with someone that would be meaningful to them, and join us on our next episode of Tacos Al Pastor.